Welcome, everybody. Let me know how you like that. This is the first time I've ever tried playing music, doing a countdown before I get on. Anyway, welcome. I'm here because it is the month of Elul. It's the first day of Elul, and I happen to be broadcasting from Tzfat, from an Airbnb up north in Israel. You can see the trees outside. It's a refreshing change from jackhammers that are currently our neighbors in Jerusalem. Anyway, it's a very extraordinary time, and Elul is as I sometimes describe it, this month, which just started today, is the hinge month between the year that we've just gone through and are now completing, and the year that's to come, which starts with Rosh Hashanah. In Elul, our job is to look at the year that's passed, to do an accounting, a cheshbon nefesh, to really look seriously and clear-eyedly, clear-mindedly, to see where we fell short of who we are, of being who we truly are. It's not really the main thing. Sometimes, definitely if you robbed, committed violence, whatever, you've got to make up for that. But in general, what we have to make up for is for not truly being ourselves, for not being all that we are here to be. Your soul came down with a purpose. Your soul came down with a core, nuclear, passionate desire. And it's got to get through to the rest of you so that it can use your body, including healing your body, uplifting your body, to do that mission. So my intention is, I don't want to overcommit, but my intention is to broadcast as many times as I can, as close to daily as I can throughout the month of Elul, just to give us the maximum ability to really use this time. This is a time when the Torah says the king is in the field. Who's the king? God, the creator. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. What does that even mean? Like, think about that. If there's nothing but one, then what's sitting when you look down at your chest or your lap? What is that? You look at your hands. Look at your hands for a minute. And just say to your hands, I know that you are infinite. I know that you are God. I know that you are creation. I know that you are love. I know that you are all. And just see how it makes you feel. So some of you are already familiar with this idea. The king in the field means that God, who is creator of heaven and earth and way beyond creator, God doesn't have the nature of a creator. God creates as part of his nature. It's part of his desire to be in relationship, part of his desire to be fully self-expressed. And mostly what he's creating is you and me. That's the core of what creation is. So God is more accessible. The creator is much more accessible during this time, which means that it's much easier. It's not that it's not possible every time, but it's much easier. Like when someone, you need support, you're sitting in your house and you're just feeling fuzzy, or you're feeling down, or you're feeling despair, or you're feeling confusion or overwhelm, whatever it is that you're feeling. And you might feel like you need someone to talk to, but from that state, most of us won't initiate a conversation. And if we do, most of the time, most people aren't going to be able to hear us, much less give us true feedback and true space to express ourselves. But if someone who loves you is already there with you, if it's someone who loves you and who's qualified, knows how to respond, who knows how to counsel, who is wise, so it's going to be much easier for you. And that's where God is in relationship to us right now. And to keep this fairly short, so I want to make sure that every moment counts. So you may have seen, or you may not have, the movies Lord of the Rings. In any case, Gandalf the Wizard had a transformational incident where he was pulled down by a demon known as the Balrog into who knows what and disappeared for a while. He was called Gandalf the Grey, and then he reemerged as Gandalf the White. So I'm here to say that one of the things that needs to happen now, in this time in history, as well as this month, like now, is that we need to leave our gray cloak and bring in our white cloak. What does that mean? We need to drop the masks. We need to search for the truth. We need to be the truth. What is the truth? What is the ultimate truth? Like I said before, Ein Od Milvado. There's nothing here but the one. So what's the mystery of the souls and all of this that we find around us? that doesn't look like God. So we can talk about that at another time. If you have questions, feel free to post them on whatever platform you're listening. I'll do my best to address. But the bottom line is that we are here on a mission. If you're alive now, and you obviously are if you're listening to me, your soul is in your body, not as a one-time thing. It keeps coming back in every nano instant, going back to source, coming back in. Why is it coming back into your body? The body is a very constricting place for the soul. It cuts off the soul's ability to see, to move fluidly through time and space and dimensions, cuts off most of the soul's consciousness, cuts off its awareness of God, at least on the levels that we are living at. So why does the soul agree to that? Because it's here that the epitome of creation can happen. It's here that the divine can be revealed through us, in us, as us. And that is the purpose of creation. That's the core purpose of the creation. So on that behalf, the soul is willing to endure. Do you feel like you're enduring? I think a lot of us feel a lot of the time like we're enduring or having a hard time enduring, especially these days. And there are always things we can do about that, at least to try to help. But it's equally important to feel what's not right, not to dwell on it and make stories out of it, but to feel it in our bodies, to be aware of it, to cry out for the truth, to cry out for our souls to reveal, for God to reveal, as it is to dance and be joyful and happy. Obviously, it's always better to be happy if you can, but Hasidus, Authentic Kabbalah, explains specifically the Mittler Rebbe in Shar Yichud, chapter 6, quotes the Zohar, which says, crying is affixed on my heart on one side and joy on the other, and explains that if you want to know God, if you want to connect to the reality of God in every aspect of creation, your own life, your physical life, you have to be equally aware of what's not right, of what makes you cry, and what is right, what makes you sing, what makes you laugh, what makes you dance. And this is the point of truth that we have to reach and beyond. Why? Who are we? What are we? Why are we here? So that's what we're here to remember. And as we do that, we can look back on the previous year and say, where did I fall short of that? Where was I wearing a mask? Where was I afraid to step up and I gave into that fear? Whatever it is, where was I not conscious? Where was I not present? Where was I going through the motions? And it's not to judge. Judgment is just another way of provoking guilt, which is an excuse to stay the same. It is a matter of discerning, to discern like if you owned a hardware store and you were doing inventory, weekly or monthly inventory. How many screws do I have? Oh, did I order enough? I have to fix that. Are my employees coming to work on time? Do I need to upgrade my training? Whatever it is, we're taking a cheshbon and nefesh and accounting. It should be with joy. Even when we look and experience whatever it is that we are experiencing so often these days, underneath it is an awareness, should be awareness, needs to be an awareness that we're here for a reason. It's not permanent. What we're going through is like transition in birth. How much more intense, it's no way of knowing. I know that we are actors. How we speak, what we think, what we aim for has a massive, massive effect, more than anything else. And that leads me into the rest of what I want to say in today's first day of Elul broadcast. And if you came on late or you're listening to the replay, I will do my best to be here as many days as I can throughout the month. And really, I haven't been on much in the last year because I've been finishing my book, Soul Fire, Activate the Sacred Powers of Your Quantum Self. But also because I've been in a deep introspective journey myself. And I feel like now there isn't anything to talk about except what's really, really true. It's not time to hold back anymore. So what I want to give you today is a perspective on how creation works. So it's very, very easy, and it's actually not accidental. As we awaken, as we rise into our power, the true power of the soul, which is created from God. So as we rise into that, the control grid, the powers that be or the powers that were, have to rise back. The world is created this way, actually. Mida keneged mida, zel u'maseh, as elokim. There is a a right side and a left side. There's a bright side, a light side, and a dark side. And they are meant to go together like crying and joy, because through this polarity, we squeeze out truth. We squeeze out self like a birth process, right? Contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. That's what makes things move. That's what makes things deepen. So we have to understand that actors in this matter. So if you want to imagine how creation works, if you want to just get a visual of it, it's God. There's nothing else. But the way that God creates is through a structure. And the key to the structure is the soul. Actually, the souls, the depth of the soul, Knesset Yisrael, the congregation of the souls of Israel, so to speak, are the same as the Shekhinah, the feminine aspect of God. The souls, God, in this aspect, agreed to come down into the world in order to activate creation, in order to carry out creation, co-creation. So that or not. And once the process is finished, there won't be any darkness, there won't be any sadness, there won't be any sickness, there won't be any turmoil. But meanwhile, in order to activate the process, just like in birth, the contractions get stronger as the process goes along. So here, there is a breaking up of the way things were. There's an awakening as a result, or maybe the breaking up is the result of the awakening. And then there is an attempt to clamp down on the part of, let's call it the other side, whatever it is, whether it's the other side as humans, or whether it's the other side of in spiritual forces, or the other side in our own selves, trying to clamp us down, trying to keep us quote unquote safe. But really, why do we have this movement forward and the resistance to moving forward? Because that's like a weight builder, like a person that pulling back the string on a bow. This is the way that our true power, the power of the soul, comes out step by step, leap by leap, inch by inch, whatever it is within the body and the consciousness. That's what we're doing now. And this is the time. However much we get done, however much consciousness we can open and activate during this month, that will create the vessels for the new light, the new creative energy on a whole new level that will come into the world on Rosh Hashanah from above. So this is really, really important. So since the soul is a piece of God, and in its deepest core, there are levels of the soul. That's the deep, deep core. So that means that when your soul is comfortable with your life, not your brain, but when your soul is comfortable with your life, comfortable in your body, God is comfortable in your body. When you're fully aware and fully embodied, when that soul is full on in you, so an awareness of God will be full on in you. And not just an awareness that God is there, but an awareness, let's say, through God. This is one of the prophecies, that we will see essentially eye to eye with God, because God is not only outside of us, embedded in us, the all that is, the one, whatever you want to call it, the everything is embedded in your core and is attempting to communicate through your soul. So when the soul is always connected to God, but what in the body, the soul is compressed and concealed. So the body, including the ego, including the identity, especially our sense of self, that's really what runs us. And it's like a program, almost hardwired, but we can upgrade it. We're here to upgrade it. So our soul carries pure consciousness, but that consciousness, which is channeling God, is filtering through the identity. And that's what causes the reactivity. That's what causes the fears. That's what holds you back, me back, all of us back. That's what makes us reactive instead of co-creative. So when we have a breakdown, when our identity confronts something and gets derailed, it's an opportunity to go deeper in to see what's been running us. What kind of programs, what kind of fears, what kind of agreement to exile. How many of us just believe that this is just the way it is? This is just the way it's supposed to be. How many of us struggle to accept that this is the nature of reality? How many are railing against it, but feeling like victims of it? This is the wrong direction. This is the wrong focus, as natural as it is, because the truth is that we are actors in this matter. We're here to create reality. We're here to co-create reality. This is not something I'm inventing. This is actually the way that reality is structured, that it comes down through the infinite light of the creator, or Ein Sof, of the never-ending one, never-ending, never beginning. And how does that light create? What causes change? So whatever each of us is inside as a soul in a body and an identity, that reflects within the infinite light of the infinite one and creates an image, an imprint. And based on that imprint, that template that is reflecting you, the real you, whatever level of consciousness you're at in truth, in an inner wired way, not just what you strive for, but what you actually are, your inwardness, that imprints on the infinite light of the infinite one, way above creation, and brings this matrix into being. And that said, so God is your mirror. Literally, this is literally mystical Torah. This is the nature of reality. So if you want that mirror to reflect and create something different from what you have, you must work on your inner exile. You must find the truth about who and what you are. And that's not only spiritual, that's got to be embodied. The body is holy. Are you treating your body as holy? The body is beloved. Are you treating your body as beloved? The body is not here just on behalf of the soul. It's more true to say that the soul is here on behalf of the body. God wants to dwell inside of the physical. So do you want to dwell inside of the physical? And what does that mean to you? So God, soul, identity, consciousness, and then the matrix. So the main thing that allows for any kind of choice, any kind of co-creation, any kind of transformation is an increase in consciousness, which means that you have to start challenging your identity in the way that you see things. You have to be looking deeper. And again, in Elul, the king is in the field. God is here to help every one of us personally, lovingly, joyfully. The other thing I'll say about Elul probably in every broadcast is Elul is an acronym. Ani ladodi vadodi li, I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. What does that mean? There are different times in the year. There are different energies in the year, in the day, in the week, in the month. Sometimes you'll experience something coming to you from above. Just that synchronicity that, you wake up and suddenly life feels good and beautiful. And then other times it doesn't. When it does, it's a gift. It's wonderful. Without that, if that never happened, it would be really hard to go forward. But sometimes it's up to us to break through that darkness, because in doing so, we find our power. We activate the soul's co-creative power within. How do you break through something that seems bigger than you? You have to find more of yourself. You have to find what's been compressing you, what's been contracting you, what's been holding you back, and find more of that self. Connect with it out of your will. Will is a tremendously strong power. Ratzon, eino davar she'omed bifnei ratzon. Nothing stands in the way of will if it's sustained. If it's sustained long enough to break through everything that's trying to stop it. Every time you break through, you create a new vessel. You create something that never existed before out of yourself. And that's real co-creation. I'm just looking at my notes here. So the main thing I want to leave you with today is a couple of things, 2 to 3 things really. Number one, the month of Elul, where we are right now. We are at the climax of history. As far as I am concerned, and I'm sure this is true, Mashiach, the Redeemer, Geula, the redemption, was ready to come and scheduled to come even decades ago. But the world wasn't ready. Those who were aware weren't ready. And meanwhile, there's force and counterforce. There's light, and then there's the opposite of light. And as the light shines, the force to dim the light also gets stronger. And then the light has to become stronger. When I say light, I don't necessarily mean light. I mean the essence, the godliness within everything, that power that allows us to move reality. So know that you are moving reality. Know that Elul is the time when you have an extraordinary amount of power. It's compressed time, which means it's dense God light and co-creative energy. So you want to use every day of Elul as much as possible to do that work. And it's time for the truth to come out. This is the time when the world is standing at a crossroads. Is it going to go this way? I'm sure you're aware of this. I'm sure you're well aware of this. Geopolitical instability. Is it going to go this way or is it going to go this way? It's going to escalate or is it going to get softer? Transform. Politics. Is it going to be more corrupt? Is it all corrupt? Or is there going to be an awakening within politics so that there are those in power who are fighting for the right, for the good? Right? AI, is it going to take over the world in a malevolent way, or is it going to be used to fulfill prophecy of abundance and ease, which is part of redemption? And we are standing at that crossroads, and things are amping up. Time's going faster. Energy's moving faster. What used to take months, slow news day, there's no slow news day anymore. Nobody can keep up with what's going on. That's because we're in the transition phase of the birth. It's going faster and faster, more and more intense. So this is the time of truth. The great news is you have a harbor of these next, I think it's 29 days, but whatever, until Rosh Hashanah. You have a harbor, a special place, a special, let's say, safety zone where you can really, really, really connect with God, who is waiting for your connection. It also says about God in Elul that he's standing, he's in the field, he's waiting for us with a pleasant, with a loving, a happy face, just inviting us to come. You don't have to put on a performance for me. This is too important. Let's figure out what hasn't gone right yet, what's gone wrong, what needs to happen, what needs to be fixed, where we're going. Let's get aligned with where we're going. And with that demeanor, with that face, God is inviting every one of us, the source, the creator. I mean, I'm curious. I see there are a few people commenting in the chat. I'm really curious how many people here, and please do answer if you're here, even if you're listening to the replay. Leave me a message. I want to know how many people are feeling these days, more than ever before, like the world's not 100% real. Like there's something synthetic or fake, like there's something behind the wall that maybe we can't get to, but maybe it's frustrating, but that it's there. I'm really curious how many people feel that way. And the fact is that that's the truth. This world is a perspective. It's a perspective that includes physicality, and that makes it feel very real. That gives us experience of reality, that gives us the ability to co-create. But really, it's just made of God in a certain pattern. Just like the quantum field is made of infinite potential, and consciousness filtered through identity, through your inwardness, will imprint on that, and then this matrix will shift in whatever direction. So I want to leave you with the awareness that it is up to us. And again, I'm going to come on as much as I can and share and try to answer your questions. And I guess I want to leave it with this. Well, I want to take a few moments just to pray together or to connect together. But I want to leave you with this idea that when it comes to bringing in a new reality, this is a new reality. Wherever we're going, we've never been before. There may be things that look similar, but we're going into a new reality, just like a baby that's going through the birth canal isn't going to go to a different version of the womb. It's going to be a completely new story. So I really want you to hear this. So the fact that it seems, we don't know what's happening, the fact that it seems like chaos, the fact that the past doesn't look like it equals the future at all anymore, the fact that you don't know where to go and what to do, that you're asking yourself, how do we get here? What's supposed to happen next? How do I survive it? I think most of us are there at least some of the time. What's going to happen next? How is this even possible? What went wrong? If you have those feelings, definitely share them. This is a space to share. But the reason that we feel those things is because we are moving into a new reality, and it's a struggle. It's literally a war, actually, between spiritual forces, and some of those spiritual forces are embedded in personal forces, in human forces, in other forces. But the bottom line is this is the birth, and this is the time. So the fact that everything seems new, that everything seems overwhelming, that everything seems crazy or chaotic, that's not wrong. That's not a mistake. It's very difficult to deal with a lot of the time, especially if you don't know what it is, especially if you feel alone. You think you're just something wrong with you. Why am I having such a struggle? Well, you're having a struggle because you're in the transition of birth. And then once you start to accept that or start to explore that, what does that mean? Then what happens? What has to change? How does that change? And to connect to other people that feel that way is tremendously, tremendously helpful. But this is Elul. I'm just repeating again. We have these weeks to get special access, insider access to the very source of creation. So use it wisely and know that every contraction, every challenge, when we start to understand what we're supposed to do with it, when we start to really understand that the fact that I don't know the answers doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to search. It means that I'm supposed to search more deeply. It means that instead of looking to the past to tell me what the future is going to look like, I have to look inside and connect more directly to my own soul, to God, to like-minded others. And all of this is possible. In fact, it has to happen. It's inevitable. Does it have to happen to everybody? Maybe not. Maybe not right in the beginning. Maybe there are those of us who, can set the stage, can make the connections and, help the process move forward. But if you're here, you're probably one of those people whose soul came down to do that. So do it. Just do it. All right. So I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and I'd love to hear your comments. Let me just see if there's anything here. Hi, Anasara. Hi, Vanessa. Jennifer, Tammy, Vivian. Nothing seems truthful. Ah, yes, nothing seems truthful. I agree. Nothing seems truthful. Nothing seems truthful. What do you do in a world where nothing seems truthful? How do you find something true? And I'm just going to speak from my heart and soul. Lay your anguish in front of God and say, show me the truth. You can close your eyes. Maybe we'll do this in one of the live streams. Close your eyes and ask yourself as you breathe, as you get in touch with your body, what's true? And see what comes up. What's true? Want to ask yourself questions. When you cannot follow the leader, when the past doesn't equal the future, when everything is breaking down, including truth, that's the biggest thing that's breaking down in front of you, you can know for sure that the answers aren't supposed to come from outside, they're supposed to come from inside. And it's time for you to learn how to connect with your soul on a deeper level, to connect with God on a deeper level. And that is mostly through questions rather than answers. Monetary system. Feels like theater. Yes, something missing. Yeah, thanks for the feedback, you guys. Lynn says something missing, and it says definitely it's a matrix. The world is deceitful, desired for the souls to go. Seriously, what the hell is going on? We'll talk about that more. Bring your questions tomorrow. I'm going to try to do this around 9 a.m. Eastern, maybe between 9 and 10. It's taking way too long. Yeah, but what if, we all think like we're waiting for something to happen. But what if the something is waiting for us to happen? I'm going to say this, even though I have mixed feelings about saying it. I've been in the redemption, Mashiach, Messianic era business since 1991, very actively, having lived near the Rebbe and the Rebbe's community and having heard the call, maybe more than almost anybody else at that time. So there was, I believe, I cannot and wouldn't even want to swear to this, but I'm just going to share with you because, truth. It's not a performance, right? It's not a performance. It's sharing what's authentically inside of you with yourself, with God, and with others. So I recently had, I don't know if I should call it a revelation or a hit on the head with them or whatever, but it occurred to me very, very strongly that the timeline, so to speak, that existed back in 1991, 1992, 3, 4, 5, that we're not in that timeline anymore. And so then I have to ask myself, what timeline are we? Because Geula redemption is definitely in process, but what's the nature of how it's meant to come out? And I want to tell you that it seems very clear that it features a few good human beings. It features us far, far more than it did before on a far, far deeper level. It says in the Ethics of the Fathers, Pirkei Avos, ben makom she'ein anashim hishtadol lios ish, in a place where you don't find, people, real people, do your best to be a person, like a real person, an evolved person. So that's where we are right now. There's so many pieces of wisdom from Torah that tell us, like, every person every day has to say, Bishvili nivra olam. The world was created for me. What if the world really was created for you? What if you're the one, or one of the ones that's meant to make this shift? Okay, I'll do it. I'll just say, the imaginal cells. If you've heard me talk about, you've probably heard me talk about imaginal cells if you've, heard me in the past. But it's a metaphor that just keeps giving. The caterpillar melts down to gel. Everything that it knows about its world goes away, even in the cocoon. It's not just that it's in a chrysalis or a cocoon, it's melted. It has no more mouth, no more antennas, no more body. It turns into gel. And then at some point in that process, there's some kind of activation, and a new, very rare, starts to vibrate, starts to activate. That's called the imaginal cell. Look it up. It's biology. It's not fantasy. It's not fairy tale. And an imaginal cell will start to activate and vibrate, and the immune system of the caterpillar will kill it. And then a new one will activate, and when a few of them activate together, they form a cluster, and the immune system of the caterpillar starts to pay attention. Instead of killing it, it starts to follow it. It doesn't take that many people. If you're in despair, it does not take that many people revealing their souls, connecting to God for real, connecting to each other, clustering. It doesn't take that many to turn the tide. Don't look at what is. Look at what you desire. Look at what you're here for. I'll tell you another thing. The Torah says that Mashiach will come b'hesach hadas, when our das, our connected consciousness, our perspective on reality, when it's removed from us, when we're not connected to that, when things seem to be like, I don't know this world. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's true. I can't predict anything. That is the epitome of hesach hadas. That's the meltdown. We don't melt down our bodies. We melt down our perspective, our das, our consciousness, our specific consciousness. And that allows for something new to emerge from within us and from within all of reality. It's just a matrix. It's just a kind of dream, but it's a physical dream, and it's going to turn into a good dream. Your body is crucial to the future. Your body is meant to be upgraded and be here forever. There are a lot of advantages to a body, once, even before, because your body allows you to have free choice. Your body allows you to co-create. Your body allows you to experience yourself as real with continuity, so that you get that transformation. But just understand the formula. And use it. Instead of one, make it happen. It doesn't take that many to shift timelines. It really doesn't. Those who do have to be truly willing to be without knowing, and to look to God, to the source, to their own souls, and to the vision. It's not just God's vision, it's your vision. What do you really desire? What is the world you want to live? And like I said before, this is time for how much of your soul is in your body. And the soul's not just like a goody-goody. The soul feels passion and joy and love and pleasure, satisfaction and freedom, power even, as well as holiness and and humility, but also power, confidence, co-creation. How much of that are you feeling in your body? Let's work on it. We have the whole Elul. It's just day one. Okay, guys, if you want more of this, do me a favor and like the video, share, invite people that you know to participate. You don't know whose activation is going to be your activation. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. I have to look for the end button.